They say history is written by the victors. But what if I told you there's a part of history they didn't just forget to write, they deliberately erased? Hidden within the ruins of ancient civilizations, scattered in symbols carved into stone, and whispered through forbidden texts, there's a mindset so powerful that it could reshape the way you see reality itself. A mindset that, once unlocked, frees you from fear, from control, from the invisible chain society wraps around you. For centuries, those in power have worked tirelessly to bury it, not because it's dangerous to you, but because it's dangerous to them. You see, when a person understands this mindset, they become immune to manipulation. Money, status, approval, they stop mattering. And that kind of freedom, it terrifies the systems built to keep you in line. This isn't a conspiracy theory, it's a pattern. From the burning of the Library of Alexandria to the censorship of certain philosophies, from the disappearance of ancient manuscripts to the distortion of sacred teachings, the clues are everywhere. Yet somehow most people never connect the dots. Maybe it's because we've been trained not to look. Or maybe it's because, deep down, we fear what we might find. But what if I told you someone somewhere managed to uncover it? A fragment of truth that survived every attempt to destroy it. A hidden thread that runs through history, waiting for someone brave enough to pull it. And once you pull that thread, everything unravels: the lies, the illusions, even the way you think about yourself. In the next few minutes, I'm going to take you on a journey, a true story of how this mindset was discovered, why they tried to bury it, and how you can begin to awaken it in yourself. Because the only real question is, are you ready to see the world for what it truly is? It started with a single object. A dusty leather-bound journal I found at an antique market in a small coastal town. The seller didn't even remember where it came from. Old estate, some collector, he muttered as he wrapped it in newspaper. I wasn't even looking for anything that day. But the moment I held it, I felt something. The leather was worn smooth, as if it had passed through countless hands, and the pages smelled of time itself. When I got home, I opened it carefully. The handwriting was jagged yet deliberate, written in a language I didn't recognize. At first, it was just symbols, spirals, eyes, geometric patterns. But then I saw something strange. In the margins, there were notes in English, clearly added later by someone else. One sentence stood out, underlined twice. The mind is the key, and the key is hidden in plain sight. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept flipping through the journal, tracing the lines of the symbols with my fingers. Something about them felt alive. The next day, I brought it to a historian friend at the university. The moment he saw the pages, his face went pale. He whispered, "Do you have any idea what this is?" When I shook my head, he leaned in closer, lowering his voice. "This shouldn't exist. At least, not anymore." He explained that the symbols matched markings found in multiple ancient cultures: Egyptian, Mayan, Sumerian, but with a twist. They were arranged in a sequence never seen in public archives, something believed to have been destroyed centuries ago. "These," he said, "aren't just drawings. They're instructions for a way of thinking, a way of seeing, that could change everything." Before I could ask more, he shut the journal and pushed it back toward me. "You didn't get this from me. You never came here. And if you're smart, you'll burn it." His hands were trembling. That was the moment I knew, whatever was in that journal, someone didn't just want it forgotten. They wanted it erased. And if people were willing to destroy every trace of it, I had to know why. I didn't burn the journal. I couldn't. Instead, I decided to follow the breadcrumbs hidden in its pages. And with each clue I uncovered, I began to realize something terrifying. The mindset they had buried wasn't just about knowledge. It was about freedom, the kind of freedom that scares those who hold power the most. I started my search in the only place that felt safe: the shadows of the internet. Academic databases, digital archives, old scanned manuscripts. But every time I typed certain keywords connected to the journal symbols, pages would vanish from the results within hours. At first, I thought it was a glitch, until I noticed something chilling. My searches were being tracked. One night, deep in an online forum dedicated to suppressed history, I posted a blurred image of one of the journal's pages, asking if anyone recognized it. Within minutes, I got a private message from an anonymous account. The message was simple: You're looking in the wrong century. Start with Göbekli Tepe. Göbekli Tepe, the world's oldest known temple site, older than Stonehenge, older than the pyramids. I stayed up all night, cross-referencing its carvings with the journal symbols. The match was undeniable. But there was something else. The symbols in the journal were arranged as if telling a story, a sequence of mental steps meant to awaken something inside the reader. Days turned into weeks. My walls were soon covered with printed images, red string connecting clues like some obsessed detective. I found fragments of the same pattern in Aztec codices, in forgotten Buddhist scrolls, even etched into stones in rural Scotland. Different cultures, different eras, but the same blueprint. The deeper I went, the stranger it became. An old declassified intelligence document hinted that during the Cold War, certain agencies experimented with cognitive unlocking techniques eerily similar to the steps described in the journal. Then there were the disappearances. Researchers, authors, even entire expeditions that vanished without explanation after getting too close to the truth. One night, as I sat in the dim light of my desk lamp, I decided to test the first step from the journal. It wasn't an action, it was a way of thinking, a subtle mental shift. Within minutes, my perception of the room around me began to change. Sounds felt sharper. My thoughts were quieter, but more focused. It was as if a part of my mind that had been asleep all my life was slowly waking up. But the journal also carried warnings. Once you see one page read, you cannot unsee. And once you awaken, they will notice. That last line haunted me. Who were they? Governments? Corporations? Secret societies? Or something older, something beyond the reach of modern power? Whatever it was, I was now in too deep to turn back. The investigation was no longer just about finding answers. It had become personal. It happened on a night when the wind outside rattled the windows like a warning. My desk was a battlefield of papers, maps, and digital tablets glowing with half-deciphered notes. I had been staring at the journal's final sequence for hours, convinced that I was missing something obvious. And then, in a moment that felt like a lightning strike, I saw it. The steps weren't meant to be read in order. They had to be followed in a spiral. I rearranged the symbols according to the spiral pattern, and for the first time they made sense. It wasn't just a set of ideas. It was a complete framework, a mental architecture designed to rewire the way you see reality itself. The hidden mindset wasn't a philosophy. It was a tool, a key. I started reading the translated steps out loud, one by one, like an incantation. With each phrase, my chest felt lighter, my thoughts faster, sharper. It was as though the mental noise I'd carried my entire life, fears, doubts, distractions, was melting away. Then it happened. The walls of my apartment seemed to breathe. Colors deepened, shadows thinned. For a brief moment, I could sense the thoughts of the world outside, the quiet hum of people's desires, fears, and dreams, all overlapping like invisible waves. I wasn't just thinking. I was seeing. But there was more. In that state, I understood something that froze me. This knowledge wasn't just ancient, it was universal. Civilizations that never had contact with each other somehow discovered the exact same sequence. And every time humanity began to collectively awaken, something or someone intervened to bury it. Wars, plagues, sudden collapses. The pattern was unmistakable. I flipped to the last page of the journal. Unlike the rest, it wasn't ink, it was burned into the parchment, as if branded by fire. The words were simple. The mind that awakens cannot be ruled. That's when the pieces clicked. This wasn't just a hidden mindset. It was the ultimate threat to control, a way to break the invisible chain society wraps around every human being. And if even a fraction of people unlocked it, the systems that govern our lives would crumble. As I sat there, pulse racing, I felt it, that subtle prickle on the back of my neck. The unmistakable sense of being watched. The journal had warned me. Once you awaken, they will notice. I closed the book, my hands trembling. I had uncovered the truth. But now I knew the real danger was only beginning. The knock came at 2:17 a.m. Not the friendly kind. 3 sharp, deliberate raps against the door, each one vibrating through my chest like a countdown. I froze, my breath caught halfway. The journal lay open on my desk, the last page still glowing faintly under the lamp's yellow light. I hadn't told anyone, not a single soul. Yet somehow they knew. I reached for my phone, but the signal was gone. Dead. Outside, the street that usually hummed with the occasional car was now silent, unnaturally silent. No wind, no distant sirens, no barking dogs. Just stillness, as if the whole city was holding its breath. Another knock. This time softer but heavier. I grabbed the journal and slid it into my backpack, my mind racing. The warnings were echoing in my head. Once you awaken, they will notice. They will come for you. I didn't know who they were, but in that moment, I knew I couldn't stay to find out. I slipped out through the fire escape, the metal cold under my fingers. As I descended, my eyes scanned the street, and that's when I saw them. Two figures in dark coats, standing perfectly still under the flicker of a dying streetlight. They weren't talking. They weren't moving. They were just watching. I turned down an alley, my footsteps barely touching the ground. But every corner I turned, they seemed closer, as if distance didn't matter to them. It wasn't just pursuit, it was presence, invasive and suffocating. Then it hit me. They weren't after me. They were after what was now inside me. The shift in my perception. The mental key I had activated. And somehow I could feel their intent, like a pressure pushing against my skull. They didn't want to destroy me. They wanted to erase what I had learned. I ducked into an abandoned building, the walls tagged with graffiti and the floor littered with shattered glass. My breath came in ragged bursts. I tried to steady my thoughts, to remember the steps from the journal. Spiral. Focus. Expand. I shut my eyes and forced my mind into the sequence. When I opened them, the room was different. The shadows no longer just where they moved with meaning, showing me paths that didn't exist before. I saw a door at the far end of the hall that wasn't there a second ago. I ran for it. Behind me, I heard the figures finally moving, their footsteps heavy, deliberate, unstoppable. I threw myself through the door, and as it slammed shut behind me, the world shifted again, the air, the sound, the very gravity felt wrong. And then I realized I wasn't in the same place anymore. The air on the other side was warm unnaturally, so like stepping into the breath of something alive. The light was dim, tinted in gold and deep blue, as if the world itself had shifted to a different frequency. I turned around to find the door I had just slammed shut. Gone. No hinges, no frame. Just smooth, endless wall. I took a cautious step forward, my senses heightened. The silence here wasn't empty, it was dense, like it was listening. Shapes began to emerge from the haze, towering structures of stone, carved with symbols I'd only seen in the journal. They pulsed faintly, as if they were alive, each beat syncing with my own heartbeat. Then I heard it. A voice not outside, but inside my head. Clear, deep and calm. You've seen what they fear. Now you must protect it. I froze. Who are you? I asked, my voice cracking. Not who. What? I am the mindset they tried to bury. Images flooded my vision, civilizations rising and falling. Knowledge hidden away in vaults. Books burned. Truths twisted into myths. I saw countless faces over centuries, all carrying this same knowing look in their eyes. And every one of them, haunted. My chest tightened. Why me? Because you looked beyond the surface. Because you asked the question they told you never to ask. And then, just as suddenly, the warmth began to fade. The light dimmed, the structures blurred, and I felt myself being pulled backward. My hands reached out, but there was nothing to hold on to. I gasped awake at my desk, the journal closed in front of me. Morning sunlight poured through the blinds. For a second, I wondered if it had all been a dream, until I saw the symbol carved faintly into the wood of my desk, the same one from the stone structures. I knew then, the journey wasn't over. It had only just begun. So if you've ever felt like there's something they're not telling you, you're not alone. And here on The Hidden Mindset, we dig deeper, uncover the truths, and share them with those who dare to see. Follow, subscribe, and join the ones who are waking up before they try to bury it again. If you've made it this far, It means something deep inside you is already awake even if the world has tried to lull you back to sleep. You've felt it, haven't you? That quiet discomfort when everyone else seems satisfied with shallow answers. That pull in your gut when you sense there's more beneath the surface. The truth is, there is more. And they've spent centuries making sure you never find it. But here's the thing they didn't plan for: you're here now. You've seen the cracks in the story they told you. And once you see those cracks, you can't unsee them. But awakening isn't a solo journey, it's dangerous to go alone. That's why this channel exists. The Hidden Mindset isn't just about videos, it's about building a tribe of thinkers, questioners, and seekers who refuse to settle for illusions. Every week, we uncover the buried truths, decode the symbols, and share the wisdom they hoped would be lost forever. So here's your next step. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications so you never miss what they don't want you to hear. Share this video with someone you know has been quietly searching, to someone ready to see the world differently. Because once you start walking this path, there's no turning back. And trust me, the view from the other side, it will change you forever. This isn't just a channel. This is where the buried truths are brought back to life. Welcome to the Hidden Mindset.